So are you in the market for a suction feed airbrush at a competitive price? Well then, the Gaahleri Mobius SP might just be the answer for you. Let's take a look at it right now. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's inside the box. Just get it out of the shrink wrap. I just want to say thank you to Gaahleri for sending this one out for us to review. So nice box. It's got the cutaway on the back. And you can see that this one comes with a 0.3 and a 0.5mm setup. So just removing the lid. This is what you get. So just a Dear Customer card with their social media links, instruction manual, which also has some basic troubleshooting, which is handy. And then the airbrush itself. You get some spare Teflon seals. In here you have your other setup. So this is the 0.5. So the 0.3 comes already installed. The airbrush itself with the jar and the adapter. So it feels nice in your hand. It's got that Mobius twisted handle design with this blue colouring on the handle and some gold accents. You have the winder at the back just to adjust your trigger, so where you want it to stop. So winding that in will stop that trigger. Winding it out, which is the way I like to airbrush, will give you the complete throw. So you just control it using your double action. Removing the needle cap, you can see how fine the 0.3mm is. And a lot of people think that a 0.3 is not fine enough to do any fine detail, but trust me, it is, especially if you reduce your PSI and overthin your paint. It's also got the island, which I quite like, because the way I airbrush, I tend to put my thumb there. So that is more comfortable for me rather than having just that rounded continuation of the body. You can see the trigger's angled. So you can see this is also angled, so I'll have to see if there's enough space there for the way I airbrush with the bottle, but I can even hold on to the bottle like that, or the jar. The trigger does feel nice and smooth, so I'm keen to give this a go. The jar, pretty decent quality as well. You can see it's all reinforced. This part dips down, which may make it a little bit easier to clean, but all in all, feels like a solid brush. Let's hook her up and put it through some paces. Now, seeing as this is a Gaahleri brush and they also have released a paint line called Kaleido Paints, I'm going to test a little bit of the paint. This is the primary colours set, so why don't we just test some black. Now, even though you do get thinner in the pack, I want to test it straight out of the bottle because they say that these paints are ready to use. So let's just put some paint in the airbrush and give it a go. So I'm going to give the paint a really good shake and then just going to put some in the jar. So these paints are really designed for miniature painting and models, hence why they're in the droppers. But I may as well give them a try for general airbrushing as well, just to see how they go, and just give them an initial quick spray out. So it's spraying fine. Just give it a quick warm up. So far so good. So you can see I've got it set at around 30 PSI here. So what I'm going to do for this airbrush, because I'm running the paint without any thinner, I'm going to up that PSI to around 40, so just under 3 bar, and just see how that performs. If you overthin your paint a bit more, then you can definitely drop your air pressure down even further. Okay, so just to start with, from a distance, spraying some of that paint on, and let's see if we can get some decent coverage. Now this is with the 0.3mm, and then as far as lines are concerned, it's spraying reasonably well. Just pulling back on that trigger a little bit less. So I'm getting a little bit of interference in the lines, but like I said, this is unthinned paint straight out of the bottle, and for that it does perform really well. Dries really fast and I'm scratching that. It's not scratching off. You can probably see that using my fingernail, I am making a bit of a mark in there, but that is very strong paint. And just to see the difference, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some thinner in here. So not a lot. I'm just going to add a little bit of their Kaleido thinner and see how that goes. So just give it a bit of a squirt. We'll just mix it in the jar. Means we're going to use a bit more paint, but that's okay. We'll just blast it out first, and then we should, as the line is flowing, it should run thinner. See, I already prefer that. I just like to thin my paints. I usually run my paint very thin. So tip drying wise, I don't know if you can see. I mean, I haven't been painting for that long, but using the paint straight out of the bottle to start with, and now switching over to a slightly thinner mix, there's really hardly any tip drying. It's almost self-cleaning. So I'd be interested to see if all the colors act like this, especially the white. So this is the first time that I've ever used this paint. So the brush itself is very smooth, nice and responsive. Just didn't shut the paint off then. What I did was I was painting and then I let go of the trigger, and then when you press down again, you get that splatter. So you always got to paint on, paint off. Shut that paint off when you're finished. So keep it flowing and then shut it off. Even I still stuff up, even though I've done this for so long. Very comfortable. Paint's flowing nicely. Let's see how the brush goes with some detailing. So remember, this is the 0.3. Starting to get a bit of tip drying. So just doing some fine lines. So getting a bit better now. I think it's flowing through to that thinner paint. Still getting a little bit of intermittent spray, bit of tip drying. The trigger is quite touchy, so that's why I just had some leaking out. But you can see there, I can definitely go fine. The consistency isn't as amazing as some of the other more expensive brands, but then again, price-wise, this is a great performer for the price. I mean, I'm being very fussy and finicky. I mean, again, this is a suction feed brush, so you're not going to really use this as much for fine detail work. Generally, the suction feed brushes are more for your larger applications, or especially t-shirt painting, you know, where you want to do some nice thick solid lines like this. Bit of an intermittent there. A little bit of tip drying. So just for the sake of the comparison, because you do get the 0.3 and the 0.5 in the set, let's compare the two. So this is still running with the 0.3. We'll do a broad spray and we'll do a couple of lines. So this is the 0.3. Let's go switch this over to the 0.5 and see if there's much of a difference. So in order to change over to the 0.5, this is what you're going to need, which you get in the set. So give your airbrush a clean, loosen the handle. I'm going to remove the needle and remove the nozzle. I did have to loosen this with some Teflon multi-grips. So you can see there, that all just comes out in one section. Then get your 0.5mm nozzle, screw that in. I'm just going to run it finger tight, see how that goes. If it leaks, I can always tighten it back up. And then the needle, so you can see the difference between the two needles. The 0.5 is on the right, the 0.3 is on the left. And get the needle, slide it in carefully, wait till it seats. So don't jam it through, just press it nice and firm, but not too hard. Tighten the locking nut. Make sure the needle is moving back and forth with that locking nut. Otherwise you'll hook your paint up and you'll pull back on your trigger and nothing will come out. Screw the handle back on. Hook up the jar. Make sure paint's coming out. It is. Now testing it out. So just another broad spray. You can definitely notice straight away a lot thicker. So compared from that to that, a much thicker spray. They still go fine, but if you want a solid line, then the 0.5 is definitely going to pump the paint on so much faster. You can see how wet that is. But not a huge amount of difference, but definitely beneficial. And you will notice that if you do hook up the 0.5, you've instantly got just more coming out, thicker paint flow, broader spray, which will make those projects where you've got to do a quick background so much easier. I think Gaahleri have just really thought about how to offer an airbrush that has the quality that you need without the exorbitant price tag of some of the other brands. And I mean, performance wise, like I said, I'm really putting it to its test. But for someone who's more of a hobbyist, you know, you might want to be painting some models, miniatures. You're not going to be painting all the time. This airbrush is definitely fine for that application. I mean, you can see I'm not getting any issue here. And keep in mind, this is straight out of the box too. I prefer to wear airbrushes in. I've got a few other Mobius brushes that I find they've performed even better since I've unboxed them and used them for a little while. But you can still go fine, no problem. And even this paint works really nicely. So I think if you're looking for a reasonably priced suction feed airbrush, then you should definitely take a look at this particular Mobius SP. I think it's a great option. And also because it comes with the two nozzle setups, that's handy. You'll just have that 0.5 there if you want to really smash on some paint. But you can see how versatile the 0.3 is. I mean, most of the time I'm airbrushing with a 0.35. It's only when I'm using some of the finer detailed brushes that I'm using a 0.18 or a 0.23. But a 0.3 is always a great size for all-round airbrushing. And to have the 0.5 there as well is just an added bonus. So to continue your learning, check out some of the other videos and playlists that I've got listed here. And if you want to fast track your learning, then definitely check out our online airbrushing course at airbrushasylum.thinkific.com.